2. Test. Check. Mic
Check.
Gotta turn my headphone volume. Diggity down. Do-la-da-do. Dee-da.
He who carries.
One second, let me reach under here. Stable.
Do you know any tongue twisters? Peter Piper picked a pair of pickled peppers.
I don't think that's it. And yeah.
What's up with the bottom of it?
Of
It's
what?
the bottom of the screen. You need to scoot the thing a little. Better.
Mira como ruedan las ruedas del ferrocarril. That's a tongue twister in Spanish.
That's what I said.
Jenny Colby, Neil in the chat. Oh, 1 minute late.
Yeah,
Neil.
couple minutes.
1 minute. Cry me a freaking river. He
Sweet
gets in the
shirt.
chat.
What
He's
about my
negative.
shirt? My shirt's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed.
I'm bricked up.
Will's a little bit keyed out because he wore the one color you can't wear in front of a green screen.
Yeah, Chat GPT
Which is green.
is
He wore green.
definitely. Colby said is Chat GPT replacing Neil? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Woo!
But where are we going to get all our controversial hot takes from? ChatGPT is engineered to never have any hot takes.
We just got to jailbreak it, brother.
Oh, that's right. We should create a ChatGPT persona called Neil.
Turn up my volume.
What volume?
My mic. I
Your
want
mic?
my mic higher.
Higher?
Oh yeah.
Just turn your headphone volume up. Your mic's fine.
No, you sound way better than I
I
do.
can hear you. I can hear you better than I can hear myself. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm closer to my mic. You know. I don't know. Let me see. This is
Hey,
the part. This is the part of
ooh,
the show where we
that
talk
sounds
about
better.
the production for 5 minutes. It's your headphone volume. So, as you may notice, you're back for another episode of the Who Invited Will podcast, and you also, if you're very, very observant, might notice that one of our hosts is missing. And if you have an extremely amazing, incredible memory, you might remember that his name is Neil. So, today, the Who Invited Will podcast is hosted by me, Jay, and to my right and your left, Will.
That's me. Wait, where's my shirt? Did you adjust something?
No, maybe because you lean forward, your shadow, you're like
Okay.
not the same tone.
I'm so back.
Lean back. Oh, there you go, ghost, and forward.
Riders on the storm.
Riders on the Schneal. Right. So we have an amazing show planned for you today. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to drink beer that has been around for 150 years. Hopefully not this can. Thank you. And we're going to tell a little story or two. Spin a yarn, tell a tale, perhaps. It's called. Yeah. Well, you live, Will?
We're gonna do stuff on the show. We've been discussing if there's some specific topics that would maybe be more entertaining or trying to change it up a little bit.
And by discussing, Will went to ChatGPT and asked it to give him topics because that's how he plans for the show now. He just lets AI do it.
Yeah,
Because Will is what's the word for it? You're an
GPT
innovator.
cuck.
What are like there should be some term for people who are just like super into AI, like crypto bros is for crypto.
Okay,
What would AI be? AI bayeyes?
maybe. Nah, I don't know.
AI
Maybe it needs to be AI, and we'll come back to it.
Artificial intelli. I don't know. Intella fans. I don't know. Chat, let us know if you can come up with a good name for the people who are obsessed with AI right now. Then we can call Will that on the show. So just let us know. Let us know. So what should we do? Should we jump into some CE? That's my abbreviation for current events.
Some current events.
CEs?
Sure.
Do you have anything you want to open the show with? Anything going on fun in your life that you can talk about?
No.
Anything that you can't talk about going fun in your life?
Yeah.
Me too, brother. Me too. But one day on the show, we might talk more about our actual lives. But until then, I guess we can just talk about, oh my God. Here's the Chat GPT topics.
So yeah, what I did was I said, what would be some interesting things to talk about? I put in all these different prompts about we're more of an entertainment / funny show. We talk about and so it repeated a lot of that same stuff back. But then I was talking to my mom, and she was saying it's really nice when you guys are talking about your life stories. So then I put that in, and then we got this huge list of stuff. And today, Jay and I are going to cover our experiences living abroad.
Oh,
Isn't that going to be fun?
Is that travel experiences? So we're starting
not
with
travel.
GPT topic
No,
number
I
one.
wasn't thinking travel experience.
Living abroad. So different than traveling
If you
abroad.
scroll cultural experiences.
Sharing stories about experiences with different cultures, such as studying abroad, living in a foreign country, or attending cultural events.
Boy, oh boy, doesn't that hit it more on the head than the first one about traveling on vacation.
What was traveling saying? Cultural exchanges, that sounds like study abroad. Or unexpected adventures, funny encounters. I have a funny encounter. One time when I was in Jordan, I met a Bedouin guy who looked exactly like Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, but he'd never seen the movie. It was unironically like literally dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, and that was his life.
And he's like, wait, what? Who is this?
He was like, yeah.
Who's this bird you speak of?
He was like, he sounds cool. I was like, oh, he is. But
Did you hear the joke about the bird? I thought it was pretty good.
Because sparrow. I don't think he connected. I don't think he knew the word for sparrow. I think his English was limited. He was actually dating an Italian woman who was like a singer who had moved there to live with him, I guess, and so she was like kind of an Italian woman living amongst the Bedouin, people who like sell stuff to tourists and like
gypsies
travel around. No, Will, and that's a slur actually.
Is it?
So we've only how far are we into the show? We're already saying slurs. Is that what do gypsies ride horses in the hood? You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Nobody even knows what that is anymore.
Oh,
You have to take that out of the episode.
exactly.
No, not like they're nomadic peoples who, I guess travel around the desert, and they have their own like language. They have their own
Bedouin.
Yeah, they have their own like.
This is the African desert.
Migrant people. Yeah,
the Sahara.
Yeah. The African. I think so.
The big one over there.
Bedouins anywhere else. Yeah, the big desert.
Because I wonder what Tanara
they're like
is.
nomads. No, those are that's Berber. Berber people.
Those are pretty
they're in
cool
Morocco.
people.
Yeah, it's different than Bedouin, but I think that maybe
they're also desert people.
Related. Yeah.
What are the Star Wars? The little guys.
Hi, Paxton.
The little guys that live out and they're like beep 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 beep.
Chat chumps, Jenny said.
Chat chumps is a pretty good one.
Yeah, they're chat chumps, the Chat GPT fans. I like that. What were you saying?
Those little guys that live out in the desert.
Little guy, the Jawas.
Jawas, yeah, those are cool.
those aren't real. Well, those
and
aren't
neither
real.
is existence. We're all in the simulation, brother. So was there some current topics that you want to talk about? I think we had a couple. We prepared a little bit more today, getting back, at least from my perspective, getting back to some good old Reddit links.
Good old Reddit.
One of the things I thought about, which I guess that's just about anything, is you hear something cool and then you pass that on to your audience. And it kind of felt a little disingenuous, to be honest, when I was thinking about it more. Like, I'm just hearing content from someone else, and then I'm just saying the same content to a different audience. And so,
But isn't that
I guess that's just, exactly.
You heard it from
I
someone.
know. Yeah, I know. And that's what I kind of, because you can also have your own takes on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is going on, and I might have heard of it, but this is something that I've been thinking, or my hot take on it. So, yeah, I think it's fine. And yeah, like you said, there's no really, that's communication. That's learning in general, is hearing it from someone else and then hopefully remembering it correct enough so that when you regurgitate that same information, you get it factually correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also like sometimes you can just get it factually incorrect for entertainment, or you can just say whatever. I mean, like that's a common like. I listen to Tim Dillon's podcast sometimes. Everyone's like, he's a right wing. I'm not right wing, but Tim Dillon might be a little bit. But yeah, no. And like he'll constantly just like learn the news story as it unfolds. Like so he'll react to like every sentence, then he'll read another sentence, and be like, oh, okay, so maybe what I said before actually wasn't great. And,
interesting.
Like he'll be like, people who, people who rob people. I mean, is it really a robbery? Then he'll read the next sentence of like, he's robbed 45 places. He's like, well, that would be tough to get off. It'd be tough to get off that. 45. That's
Seems
a
little habitual.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like more of this man's profession.
Yeah.
This is not a hobby. This is a passion.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, it'll be like, and he pushed an old lady down the stairs. Well, you can't like him for that. He's like, although, we all haven't wanted to do it. So, like,
maybe she was racist.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of fun hearing him, like, piece together stories and just get the takes really wrong. But what was I going to say? Oh, there was one thing we talked about, which I wish Neil was here. But, he's having...
I do. I'm glad he's here virtually.
He's having a conversation with himself in the chat right now, so... So yeah, maybe he'll respond to what I'm saying. But he said, okay, remember we were talking about like, what's your top dream country and where's like the country you want to go to the most?
Yes.
And I said Japan.
Yes.
And Neil was like, ooh, you're going to be really disappointed in Japan. Like a lot of people who go to Japan. How can you be disappointed? Like it's a whole country. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's I didn't understand. What's going to be disappointing about it?
Depends on how weeby you are. Because if you're
I'm watching a lot of One Piece lately.
Well, you're going to be in trouble because I saw something recently where the person saved up all their money. They were literally living in their parents' basement, didn't have a job.
Oh, just like me.
They went to Japan and then they're like, oh, there's no neon lights walking around. I guess there's some like kind of coffee shops where the girls wear like cat ears or something, or they are cats. That didn't really make sense. Then he ordered some ramen that I guess was off of Naruto. Am I saying that right?
No, but I keep going.
The
Naruto.
Give me
ramen.
the number one Naruto special, please.
You can't see. Are the chairs too low? Is that the problem? I want to be able to see your face here.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I'm trying to talk over it. Okay, I can do that. So then he ordered the ramen, and like, you know how like anime food is legendary. Like they make it look so good and da da da. Or at least to this.
So
guy,
he was expecting it to be a literal cartoon.
Yes.
He was like, I don't get it. Why is everything like live action, not animated here?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, why is everyone sad and depressed? Yeah. This isn't fun at all.
Yeah. What, do people just like live normal lives here like everywhere else? This sucks.
Yeah, and so and that's what he said. And then
unrealistic expectations.
He was in Japan, he was in Tokyo, and then he went to like some famous village that's on a bunch of anime too. And he's like, they weren't, and I couldn't even get any
village.
Good.
What the hell?
Is it manga or manga or
manga? Yeah,
manga. He's like, I can't even get any good of that. And
okay, hold on.
So it's. No, He can't just come in willy-nilly as much as...
Hello?
I want to respond to the Japan question.
Okay. Please do.
So the reason why I think you're going to be disappointed in Japan is that I don't think it's a big cultural...
You all right there? You're going to cough into the...
It's a big city. It's a big city. It's not like...
Japan is a big city. Okay.
Well, Tokyo is the big city.
Sure.
Right?
Everyone knows that.
Right. So
it used to be Nagasaki.
I don't
terrible,
think it's going to be as cultural of a difference as like going to Buenos Aires or Rio de Janeiro or Paris. Like it's not. It's just a lot.
Paris is literally a big city too.
Yes, but it's not like full of buildings and big skyscrapers and stuff. It's just more. There's more scenery. It's more
people like going to New York, and you're just talking about Tokyo. Like, what if you actually just go to like rural Japan or somewhere?
Well, isn't like half of Japan like filled with radiation still?
No.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, it was fun talking. Thanks for the call.
Well, anyways, thanks. Have a good night. Stay safe.
See you later.
Stay safe.
Terrible, Colin. And well, if there's one thing that watching anime gives you much more appreciation for, it's like,
yeah, it's good.
It's like the horrors of the nuclear thing. Like even your joke about it now, I'm just like not cool rough. Because it's. Man, like when you realize the American perspective, like we've whitewashed the shit out of that history. Like it was horrific.
I'm only partway through, but there is a movie called like
Neil said it. Hentai isn't as good in person. All right. He won't stop until we put him on. So, hey, what's up, Neil?
I just want to explain why I'm not on the show real quick.
Okay. Please. Everyone's been asking in the chat, as you can see. Wait, no one can get a word in edgewise because it's just you talking to yourself.
No, it's not.
Okay, so why are you not here?
Okay, so I was going to be there. I was going to have a date tonight. She got COVID today. She tested positive. So I'm on a FaceTime call with her. Well, I was on a video call with her. Uh-huh. And then she had a work emergency real quick. But now she's calling me back, so I have to go now. But that's why I called in to say hello.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you should. If you were on the show, it would have been like a video call.
Does she go to a different school, Neil? You wouldn't know.
You guys don't know her, okay?
Neil just wanted to call in to be like, I have a date, everyone. I have a virtual date.
In a different city.
All right. I thought you were supposed to go. I asked you did I not ask you? I thought you were supposed to go to lunch with her. What happened with that?
Lunch with her?
She has COVID.
Yesterday, what? Wednesday for lunch. That's what I remember.
No, that was never supposed to be a thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. No, that changed to Thursday at 6 p.m. because I have biscuits, so I was going to take biscuits to Denver Beer Company.
Okay.
And then guys, have a good show and make sure to be fun, okay? Please just be a little fun.
Biscuits?
This isn't PBS.
Man, biscuits, that dog loves peanut butter.
How would you know?
I've heard, man.
How would you know?
Yeah, she's from, Colby says, is she from Canada? She's definitely.
Colby says, good luck with your FaceTime, Neil. All right, see you later.
Yeah, yeah, sounds like he really had to go.
Yeah.
That was definitely a call in just to be.
Hey, everyone. I have a
date. I'm going out with a real woman.
Is it just the GoPro or my teeth yellow? I got to start sonic caring a little bit harder.
Yeah, mine are not great.
Mine are worse.
Oh, it's called like House of Fireflies or Field of Fireflies, and it's all about like it's a Japanese anime about World War II and the bomb dropping, and I guess it's like one of the most intense things ever.
You watching it?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's like a movie. It's not a show,
okay.
And it's pretty intense. Yeah. Something, but Fireflies though. Cemetery, Grave of Fireflies.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy. So I know, not a good joke.
It's fine, whatever.
But,
I'm just saying,
and it's
watching a bunch of like fruit. So many, portrayals of it. There's a documentary about the nuclear testing at Bikini Atoll.
That's where bikinis got their name.
It is. And they interviewed the people on the island, and it's insane. Like they were just like playing in the fallout like it was snow. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know,
and they didn't know what the hell was going on. The U.S. government just basically just tested.
Hey, you're gonna see a bright light over there. Don't look at it.
They didn't tell them anything. They just wanted to see like how it would affect people. Yeah, they were like,
there's a lot of. That was actually one
like Drago and Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of.
For whatever we're keeping it light and fun.
Yeah, there is a lot of the like history, like the Manhattan Project, that I do find super interesting, and like those are some of the only facts or stuff that I remember from our high school chemistry class. We went through all of that stuff, like the building of the bomb.
Like we enriched uranium in high school.
Yeah, exactly. So. We have the cake.
Yeah, we got some yellow cake in high school.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Because then I don't know, all the stuff like it all has the critical mass. I think it's 22 pounds or something. And then they were saying how they enriched it, where they had like miles of tubing, and then they would get the uranium into a gaseous state and run it through it, and the heavier 239 would be slower than the 237, and so they were able to calculate that, and so then they would run it through, and then they could capture the 237 and capture the 239. And I think and this is where I'm regurgitating facts that I don't really remember from 15 years ago. But I think it's the 237 that is actually the one you want. And then there's like that. The reason that they had two bombs was because they didn't know if they would work. They had different devices because you have to get the critical mass, and it needs to happen at like the same time. And so one of them was like a sphere where it shot all of the uranium into the center to form, and then the other one, I think they had it on like opposite ends, and they would shoot it together. But it's like,
turns out it doesn't even matter. They're just like, well, I mean, you get enough uranium and a bunch of explosive shit into the a capsule, and it just figure it out,
And I think they only had enough uranium to make those two. Like they tested obviously, but so if they would have like continued
more
the
than
war,
enough. As it turned out, more than enough, way more than enough. Because I think they didn't potentially realize, because it's like the after effects of it were way worse, right? So that actually
years
I'm
and
sure
50
nobody
years.
could have like anticipated. I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe they did. It's tough to know what.
No, they don't know. That's kind of human history. There are a lot of people.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Exactly. The guy I think that made dynamite, right? Yeah. Then he had
Alfred Nobel or something.
Yeah, okay.
Of Nobel Prize fame.
Colby is asking, is it Studio Ghibli? I don't know what studio.
Studio Ghibli's like, all the famous like animes, like. Oh, come on, Spirited Away.
Okay,
and like Princess Mononoke. And
Spirited Away, because everyone thinks it's like the most beautiful thing ever. Because like I guess every single character, usually they have a lot of like already drawn background sets.
Oh, they drew everything.
Each character, yes, and each character is unique. They weren't like repeating that. So
that's true.
The level of detail within that, I guess, was
One Piece.
Like
some of it's like
insane.
slideshow-ish. It can get real slideshow because, like, they got 1,000. They don't want to keep drawing the same stuff, so they'll animate one thing and have the background static. But I don't know. One Piece is pretty good. It's about pirates. And it's about basically everyone's a pirate, like not in the whole world, but pirate. It's like a big thing to be a pirate, and there's a lot of oceans, and everyone just goes around.
Like Waterworld.
There's land. There's a lot of islands.
It's definitely that one, Colby. Studio Ghibli film A Grave of Fireflies. Nice. And Paxton is saying Spirited Away. Thanks.
Yeah, Spirited Away is good.
For the confirmation.
Princess Mononoke is probably my favorite anime I've ever seen. It's pretty amazing.
I don't know what...
It's about like the nature. It's about like the conflict between like nature and like technology.
Oh.
And so like it's about like the forest fighting against like this
Lord of the Rings
war factory. No, but I guess there's kind of like a that kind of vibe to it a little bit, but no, like you sympathize with both sides in some respects.
That's when I really like movies or whatever, when they do that, where it's not just like a one-sided villain and a one-sided hero. It's like they make them more human or flawed in either way, and then it really that's a lot more intriguing, I think. Should we get into some
Totoro? There you go.
Is that the dog?
Howl's Moving Castle. Tita loves Howl's Moving Castle.
Totoro? Totoro is what I would have said.
Well, I think it's Totoro. Howl's Moving Castle. Tita really likes that.
How I think I
has like a flame that's a character is like a fire.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. A lot of them.
We would never be talking
really
about anime
good.
if Neil was here.
Yeah, we would have moved on, and
he would have been like,
will move on.
I don't get anime. I don't get anime.
Just doesn't make sense. I don't like it.
What is anime exactly? Just going through an interrogation. He's not in the chat anymore though, so now it feels bad talking about him. He'll call
Well,
in.
he'll
He would-
call
he
in
would've that
after.
would have elicited 3 call-ins. That statement.
Should we get to some current affairs?
I don't think Lord of the Rings is about that. I think he
No,
meant, I
what
think
I-
he meant the Ents. The Ents. Right?
Yes, the tree people.
The tree people.
That's the only thing I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right,
Nice.
so let's just jump into it.
Let's
Look at
just jump
this.
in. Would you? Isn't that crazy?
You.
I mean, you is right.
Sea lion fingernails.
And you just the more.
Sorry, chat. Trigger warning if you get grossed out by.
The more you
I don't like
I don't
it.
know. Like
I
all
don't
that
like
stuff,
it.
all the mammals, like when you see the skeletons and then they show, have you seen those visuals where they're like, in a human, these are our fingers. In a whale, it's this. And so like for seals, obviously it's this. But
Why do
like
they have
the
nails
bats-
on the flippers?
because
Are they just
they're-
vestigial?
no, it's like their fingers that have just morphed into
But
the
I'm
thing.
saying like the nails no longer serve a purpose,
Oh.
right? They don't scratch things.
No, those nails definitely serve a purpose, Jay.
What's the purpose?
Absolutely nothing.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They're like vestigial. They're like our appendix or like
Yeah.
whales have like pelvis or something,
Oh, okay.
even though they don't have anything legs to put in there.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Something like that. yeah.
definitely vesty.
Let's look at some comments here. I've seen some feet like this at Walmart. Walmart. That ties perfectly into my article, actually.
Let's see.
There are feet like that in Congress.
It does look like Marjorie Taylor Greene's feet. Have you seen her feet?
No, she has the feet of a sea lion.
Yes, it's in her feet. And we're not trying to body shame here, but
Yeah, well.
golly, these things are jacked. It looks like she has 3 toes.
I'm like, what kind of results am I going to get?
That's what
live
someone
Googling
else was
this?
saying. Yeah, that one.
No,
I mean, what the hell's even going on there?
she's got like a
I don't know. No one knows.
she's got the toes of a camel. I was going
See,
to say.
like there's a couple extra
She's got-
toes there, but I mean that's pretty jacked up.
Yeah,
That's not a great look.
it's just the configuration's a little weird. Let's get a better photo.
Oh, okay, that was way better. Did someone add in some toes?
Did they?
Yeah, that looks way better.
No, I think this is the.
Look, she has 5 there. The other one they like morphed it over. That's
Oh, so
definitely
you
different.
You think that they edited?
Yeah,
People
okay.
edited
I've
them?
been duped. Scroll up. The first one. Look, that has 3.
Oh yeah. that
Someone's a jerk. See, Snopes. Click on Snopes. Okay, let's see. 3 toes.
Imagine having a Snopes about your feet.
Yeah, not.
Okay.
If I
Appears to have 3
always-
toes.
I can't read that. Fast.
Yeah,
Tell me
it's
what's
been
happening.
manipulated.
Okay,
This
yeah.
is not what her feet look like. They look like this. They do this to politicians all the time.
Damn, that's messed up.
Like, who's that guy? I can't remember, but they like made his smile look crazy.
Tom Cruise.
No. Oh, man, you're calling it Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's love. Oh, I'm not trying to body shame, but let me body shame. All right, this one's crazy. Well,
I'm
this one's
ready.
not crazy, but it's kind of cool.
Read it to us.
So giant insect thought extinct in eastern U.S. found in a Walmart. So they found this bug that went extinct in the 50s. They don't know why. It just was like, it used to be everywhere, this big lacewing. And then this apparently, I don't have to read the article. Like, I don't want to subscribe. But basically what happened was this professor was teaching a class about, I don't know what. He was some professor where he knew, oh, well, Will's gone. I'll just talk to the chat and hopefully Will hears me. But yeah, it was a professor that he was teaching some class where I guess he would have like known what, it was like not archaeology, but something along those lines. And so he knew about this bug, and he basically saw this huge bug on the side of a Walmart when he was walking in. And so he just basically he picked up the bug and then he took it and like kept it, and then like at some point someone identified it because he worked at a university. Like they identified it as this bug that it's from the Jurassic era, I guess, but it went extinct in the 50s. We don't know why. Maybe like humans killed it with light or something, too much light. But basically they're saying there might be a
resurgence of.
So yeah, Walmart,
Walmart, the
That's
place
where-
of all kinds of creatures.
You get everything there.
Yeah,
It was outside the Walmart though. They keep acting like it was in.
Yeah,
the Walmart.
it's shopping.
Yeah, it was in a box. People were selling it, and they're like, "Where the hell did you get this?"
That'd be. There's a lot of. Well, not a lot, but it happens here and there where they're like previously thought extinct for 50 years, and it's not an insect. It's like a full-on mammal, right? Like a big animal.
Yeah, well,
that they've never seen.
I
That's
kind of
kinda
think
crazy.
that. What was I gonna say? Like, do you think that I wonder about this? Like, if we're gonna just like destroy most of the natural world?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there is basically existence is death most of the time. I think we're down to the like 99.9% of any species that was ever living has been extinct.
But like, what about like in the last however many years? So many have
Like
gone
you're
extinct.
saying, like man. Well, yes.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, do you think that we're gonna just like wipe out most of everything if humans continue on the path we're on? Like, are we just gonna wipe out a lot of biodiversity?
Yes, and we're already doing that too. Like, and then I think that's another big stat is like around biomass and how many animals make up what percentage. So I think ants like outweigh everything, or insects. Maybe it might just be ants by like a lot as terms of just overall biomass. But then a huge part of the animals that exist today are just cows, chickens, and pigs, and they're very specific to our agricultural needs. And so there's like no diversity.
Or like cats kill so many.
Well, cats kill a lot of stuff
Right.
too. And so, and I don't know, everything is going through cycles. Stuff is going to die off. I mean, are we speeding it up? Yes. In certain cases, like the polar bear, let's say. And then there are some animals like the dodo bird
Rip to the polar bear.
where it's legitimately caused by mankind. They showed up to the island where all these dodo birds were, and then people just thought it was
For their
funny
feathers.
that they were so stupid, so they would just shoot them, just to shoot them. And then they completely wiped them out within like a 20-year period.
That
And then
sucks.
it was pretty funny because, well, not funny, but they had one remaining. A taxidermist got the very last dodo bird and taxidermied it, stuffed it. That was the verb I was looking for. And then they had it at the university, and then some janitor was cleaning out, thought it was old, and threw it away. So, like, yeah. It's,
So we don't even have a stuffed one anymore?
no, yeah.
Oh my god, janitors are idiots. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, well that's sad. But
Yeah.
like I tend to think like if humans like there will be populations of animals that outlast humans because they'll just go into like the most remote areas that we wouldn't even go. Like the lacewings are probably just in deep
Sure.
forests where like we don't fuck with.
Well, and that's my kind of point. And like long term, humans are not going to be around, and life is going to survive, and it might be on a smaller scale. Because like even when there's huge ice ages or these massive extinctions, what happens is it gets down, like it really gets bleak for a while, where only the small little creatures survive because they were underground whenever whatever hit, right?
Yeah, moles and shit.
Yeah. So
Moles and
worms. Speaking of like those crazy facts, or like, because I was going to say a woolly mammoth. So woolly mammoths were around when the pyramids were built. Did you know that?
no, I didn't know
Crazy, right? Bring it back to the. Doesn't that seem insane?
that. It does, yeah. But I don't know. I feel
That's
like
how
woolly
old they
mammoths
are.
are pretty recent though.
Wow.
Fairly.
Yeah.
I mean, there were like giant birds and like saber-toothed tigers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, was that those coincide? Like humans lived with those things, right? Early humans,
Yes.
we as a species used to hunt those things, right? We
Yeah.
probably killed a lot of cool shit.
Definitely.
throughout all of our history.
Exactly,
we've
and
just
that's
been
what I'm
killing
saying.
more and more and
like
more.
we're just in this tiny blip of time, and so this is what we're seeing. And when we're seeing stuff go, it's like, oh no, what about the polar bear? And it's
It still sucks.
it sucks, but it's also
It's just like saying like, oh, in your life when the people you know die, it's like, well, there's plenty other humans. You know? It's like,
Yeah.
You know, so Colby is like going off. He thinks that we're gonna recapture energy, recapture carbon, and we aren't gonna care about energy in the future, and our descendants will be, and will our descendants be No, I don't think we're gonna do either of those things. I think we're just gonna make the planet so toxic that we just die ourselves, and I don't think we're ever gonna get like to the point where we can sustainably live in another planet. I don't think that's not on the track we're on.
No,
Colby, not everybody's like on like working on that. We're like people are just we're still making so many people here suffer. We can't even alleviate like the solvable problems we know.
Well, and that Homo Deus book that I think I mentioned quite a bit. I don't know if we'll be multi-planetary, but I do think that people are going to start biohacking themselves and giving themselves, whether that's genetic modification or like actual like biometrics, like implanting stuff in them.
You should watch Cyberpunk Edge Runner. That's an anime that's good.
Oh, okay.
It's like only a few episodes long. It's like a mini series, but it's about like these people who basically just buy like aftermarket body modification and just keep replacing their bodies until eventually they just die because their bodies can't handle it anymore.
Huh.
It's pretty cool.
Then that's the other thing, like,
The
because then I was
animation's
looking
really
up thought
cool.
experiments as well, and one of the ones is like, okay, if you have a ship and you replace every nail and every board on the ship, is it still the original ship?
What is that ship? It's a famous ship that's always used in that phrase, but whatever.
The Titanic.
No, it's not the Titanic. 100%. It's a wooden ship.
Sarah said, I didn't buy a taxidermy dressed as an old timey Western sheriff, and I regret it every day.
I don't
agree.
think you should worry about that.
I think dead animals, and rightly so, kind of freak people out. I grew up with it. Like, I grew up really kind of, I don't know where I got it. I think my mom thinks I was like a reincarnated mountain man or something. Because like at a young age, like 4 or 5, we had beavers.
You were like smoking a corncob pipe and whittling. And she was like, "This is odd.
Something's odd.
Not every 5-year-old does this."
We had beavers,
And
we didn't want them eating and cutting down all the trees, and so we set beaver traps.
Okay.
And we killed the beavers.
Well, rip to the beavers.
Rip beavers. So when I'm like, super young, 4 or 5, I was super into it, and then like my dad
into killing beavers.
Well, not killing the beavers, but then I wanted
mountain man or sociopath.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you torture him?
Yeah.
So
I am your god, beavers.
It turned into we killed them, and then I wanted them tanned, and so then we would gut them and then send them into the taxidermy, get them tanned. So I have a couple beaver, and then whenever there was like roadkill, if it was fresh enough and it was a cool animal, we also took that to the taxidermy. So I have like a gray fox, a weasel, a bunch of the stuff that's
a
really
couple of people
really
made 'em
out
into
there,
lamps,
right? Like, and I don't think that's necessarily normal, but like I guess that doesn't bother me. But then when people
like
come
gutting
over,
things doesn't bother you.
Yeah, or animals doesn't. If I see a human get a cut or something, it really gives me, like, I get that pit in my stomach. It hurts.
Oh,
but
interesting.
And it's not like I enjoy gutting an animal or a fish. But
no more or less than anyone.
Yeah,
anyone
more or less.
else.
Do you like your job? I mean,
no more or less than Ted Bundy.
So it's, I don't know. It's interesting because I have a stuffed deer head, and then it kind of creeps people out.
Does it creep you out?
No,
you like it?
I mean, I think it's fine.
Colby says a monkey can already play video games without a controller, just via Neuralink. Yeah, but playing video games is like not.
Have you seen Lawnmower Man?
Yeah. What video game are we talking here? Are they building like Minecraft cities? No, they're probably doing, catch the banana.
Eat the
or
banana.
Something, yeah, something like that, I mean, but yeah, I think we're definitely going to kill a lot of monkeys trying to get to Mars. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because then that's the other whole thing is like eventually over time, your body would adjust to the gravity and they would really become a different species.
That's what in The Expanse, they become like long and
Oh,
skinny.
yeah.
Long bone.
Yeah.
Like,
You
yeah.
thinny boy, skinny boy.
Yeah,
Tall
I don't
boy?
know. What else we got on the current eventos?
We got a couple things.
Oh, let's go back to...
I agree. Colby's talking about reducing emissions. I'm all for it. ESG, all the way. On gas.
Let's
Bye
go
bye.
to
Yeah,
this one. Let's go to this one.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read this, so read it
My
to
mom
me.
sent me this, and then I saw the headline later. Whiskey fungus fed by Jack Daniels encrusts a Tennessee town. So basically there is, I didn't read this either, but basically there's a dark fungus that is being fed by the vapors from the barrels of aging
Okay.
Jack Daniels. And it's like coated homes, cars, patio furniture, road signs in a sooty crust, residents said.
Huh.
One woman is suing Lincoln County. So here it is, the Jack Daniels fungus that
Looks pretty sooty.
grows from the vapors. Doesn't that mean that like the Jack Daniels itself is disgusting? That
No.
it just has a fungus growing from it?
Not
Or
at all.
that just means it's full of sugar. something.
Or it doesn't mean anything. It just means
Whiskey
that the
fungus.
fungus adapted to grow off. I mean, fungus is the most versatile thing out there.
Yeah.
They've like trained fungus to
The subway system thing?
fungi. Well, the fungi that or the subway system thing is awesome. I was more speaking to they've trained it to like eat oil. So when there's oil spills in the ocean, they just throw this fungus in the water and it eats it. But the subway thing was awesome, where they just so if people aren't aware, Japan.
Yeah, let's show
Put
the subway thing.
Yeah, because the visual is sick.
Let's get copyright claimed.
Japan subway fungi.
Okay.
Don't click a YouTube. Don't click a YouTube. Don't click a YouTube.
La da 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 da.
Da-da-da.
So yeah, they basically put like little things on each subway stop and made a map, and so each of these little blips is a subway stop, and then they had fungus grow to like that it eats whatever the material is that these subway stops are made out of, and then they had fungus grow and it created this network between them, and then they like redrew the subway map to match what the fungus did because it was more efficient.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, they basically use fungus to create a better subway map because it just creates this like neural brain type structure thing. Anyhow, so basically this
amazing.
fungus though is not building subway systems. It's apparently like
Getting drunk.
it's getting wasted, bro. Whiskey fungus has thrived for centuries around distilleries and bakeries. So apparently whiskey fungus is like a fungus everyone knows about, but because they're in Kentucky, they're just going so hard making Jack Daniels. It's like taking over the town.
It would suck when everything is covered
In fungus? Yeah, that would for sure suck.
It's sooty.
Especially
dark
if you have
crust.
like a mold allergy or something.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
fucking getting whiskey fungus in your lungs and stuff. Bird feeders, patio furniture.
Okay.
Apparently it's spread uncontrollably. Huh. 35,000 residents. Why would you live in the Jack Daniels town? Let's face it. Like that town smells like whiskey every day. It smells like
why-
a dirty bar.
I don't think people are choosing to live
No one's chosen to live there. They're forced to. I get it. Let's see.
socioeconomics.
Interesting. So the company representative is like, we're generating a lot of property taxes here, all right? You want your kids to get a good education in school? They gotta chip a little fungus off your rear view mirror.
Did
when
we
you're-
ever talk about the whole Ohio train thing? Because that was crazy.
Look, this is
Yeah, that's
how
pretty
thick
thick.
the fungus is.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
That's not great.
Did we talk about it, Jay?
What? I talk about what?
The Ohio train wreck that spread all the chemicals?
yeah, we
that's crazy.
We
That's
talked
bad.
about that.
Did you see the water? Like people's water is like, oh.
It's like oily.
Well,
It has
it's
that, like, rainbow on
oily.
it?
Yeah, that. But then they did something where they like put it. What did the
Ugh.
person do?
This is
Their water
this is
was
disgusting.
fizzing.
Apparently, the fungus has just gotten out of control. Like you can scratch it off trees, and it just like everything's black.
Huh.
This is terrible. Yeah, I don't know.
He
Jack Daniels does
He's-
not
they
want to
said,
power wash it.
You can just wash it off.
Look
What's
at
the big
this.
deal?
It's covering a whole building.
It's good for the economy.
Yeah, it grows the economy. Guess what? That's basically what Jack Daniels said. They said,
Yeah.
guess what? It grows the economy. You want to have potholes filled in your town? You want to have your kids have 5-day school weeks? They're going to have to
You want to put shoes on your little foot rot children?
And if you drink that, and if you eat that fungus, you can get a little bit drunk. What else do you want?
All right, good. Time for my 2 links. Yes. My
This is
2
a long
links.
article.
My 2 links.
Who's
Uh-huh.
going to want to live here, Will? That's what the fungus.
It's
people
not
said.
about want. It's about the ability to live there. So
Which one do you want to do? You want to do a cameraman at work?
No,
video?
the other one, the future Fords, because this is just kind of a real quick topic. I don't really have a lot to discuss, but I think it's really funny. I just use the article. I wouldn't
So
even
here,
click on it.
let's
So they
read it
say
out.
future Fords could repossess themselves and drive away if you miss payments. So they're gonna basically program it where if you don't make the payment, it will automatically drive itself away. That's exactly what I said.
Not if I can help it.
Yeah.
Not if I have anything
But then
to do
look at
with
the
it.
top comment, because I think mainly why I sent it was because of the top comment, because I
So
laughed
basically,
so hard.
wait, can you just explain the concept? So basically, you go to your local
I buy Ford.
dealer and you get an F-150.
Hey, can I have sir, can I please have one F-150?
Yeah, certainly.
And then they're like, okay, that's going to be $500 a month.
And
I
you're
said,
like, I'll definitely.
oh,
pay.
I have that money on hand. Do not worry about me. But then, boy, oh boy, I hit the slots with my friends, lost all the money.
All right, so you lost the car. What does it do? What happens now? You lost the car, and what does the car say?
As I'm sitting at my house crying at my losses, I see my Ford F-150 turn on, give a little honk honk, and drive away back to the dealership.
Huh.
And I said, no, Ford, no, come back.
It says
But
there'd be
no.
It says here there would be several warnings from the vehicle before the system initiated.
Of course they're going to warn you. You still get letters in the mail like, hey, you better pay this or we're going to repossess it.
What if like somebody tries to like jump onto the car as it's driving and then they like get run over? They could sue the
All Fords
company.
come with a guaranteed gun on board and they will shoot you. It's like the
car just like
Rep-
it just ejects you out of the sunroof with the
Yeah.
seat. The seat flies through and you just
like a repo man, you know.
Well, the thing that's kind of annoying about this, I don't know if you saw this with like BMW.
All the subscription based
Like
stuff.
you have to subscribe to get
Yeah.
like, oh, you want heated seats? Well,
Yeah.
then you got to pay $10 a month. So they're trying to make
Yeah.
like every accessory in the car.
and then they turn them all
subscription-based.
on for like the first couple months, and then they're
It's
like,
like a
"Oh,
drug
you
dealer.
want that, huh?
They're like,
you
first-
like that? You like those
Yeah.
heated seats?" Scroll down because the top comment is hilarious. Farther,
Okay.
This one. This is going to be the saddest country song of all time.
I left my Ford in the driveway and she drove herself back home.
Yeah, it's so funny. So that's really all I got with that one.
Also they're saying like people have hacked vehicles. So what if someone hacks in and then changes the destination to
And
their
just gets a new
like,
car?
stolen car garage and then says like, oh, your car like hits the repossess button and then the car just drives itself. The car can steal itself now.
Yeah, that's sick.
You don't even need to like have a person to steal cars. You could just
It's gone in 0.6 seconds.
You just wave your little like device at it and you're like, "Toot, toot," and then the car just starts driving away. Oh my god, that's awesome.
And then you're gonna have even more people saying, "I just want my goddamn internal combustion engine that don't got no electricity in it, and I know where the oil filter is." Right? And then they get all kind of crazy and.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, that's going to be even more of a push for people to want to like clutch their pearls and stick to having things the way they are because they're in their control.
Well, I don't
now.
trust self-driving cars. I was talking with Tita about this, but I would never get in a self-driving car. Self-driving over my dead body, I would grab the wheel immediately.
You wouldn't, like, if you could still sit in the driver's seat, and if something's not happening, you slam on the brakes. Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing now.
Well, not really. Like, there's self-driving cars in San Francisco that, like, the person sits in the back, just, like, taking notes.
Really?
Yeah. That's what Paxton was saying.
Yeah, I mean, is it? I don't know. It might be safer. Let's see. What do we got here?
Oh, Dad, I hope you enjoyed your dinner. Glad I don't have to deal with any subscription service for my car. It was BMW, I think, that was doing that.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Sarah said there have been some states and cities that won't allow self-driving vehicles, right? Tesla's record is a bit rough. Don't love Tesla, but as a former Fiesta owner, not sure I trust Ford to do it better. Yeah, Ford, fix or repair daily. Right? Wait, what do you drive again?
Ford F-150.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait till they update the firmware in your car and it drives itself right out of that little garage.
Mine's paid for.
Yeah.
That's a clean title, brother.
Sure it is. I mean, I guess the implication is that it doesn't matter if it's paid for. If that system exists and people know it exists, they're going to hack it.
Well, it doesn't exist in my car, so they'll never take it from me.
That's true, yeah. Your car is valueless.
Valuable. My car is, I have one.
Oh, how dare
Burn.
you. No, but I don't know. I think it's inevitable. Like the subscription like the only real innovation in tech the last like 10 years has been the subscription based model.
Exactly. And they're
That's
doing it with everything.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, how can we monetize
You
it?
want to breathe? 0.01 cents per air. Or if you pay ahead, it's 0.0097.
Well, that's the funny thing about even all this like Chat GPT. It's like, oh, this is open source. Well, it's open source until it becomes popular, and then we're gonna monetize it immediately, and then everything's subscription based.
It's the all the features in the truck. Like, well,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like every company wants to be a utility company, but like it actually makes sense. Like, because I was in a meeting at my company and they were kind of talking about. I mean, they kind of hammered this point home in several like meetings, but basically like with the subscription model, like if you think about it, like if you sell a subscription, like it's like, let's say you sell an annual subscription.
Okay.
Then like as long as you can renew that person, the floor of the money you're making has gone up. And then you sell another subscription and it's like another stair up. So then now this is the baseline. If you just sell like a one-time thing, you have to, it's every time you're selling stuff, the amount of revenue goes up, but then you have to keep selling those things to keep it at that same level. So it's like very like this, depending on demand. But with the subscription, you like lock people in. So as long as you aren't bleeding customers, you basically are like guaranteeing the amount of money. So the software companies love it because they can, instead of like, hey, I'll sell you this like video game and you just basically own it now and you don't ever pay me again. It's like, I'll sell you a subscription to like an online video game marketplace so that you're paying
or
me
you
every
buy
month.
the add-on, downloadable content. Like a lot of that stuff
everything.
too. But then
I don't know if I did a good job explaining that.
It does, because at the end of the day too, it's about like your CapEx, capital expenditure. So it's like the more you can budget and plan based off of revenue and like the more you understand how much is coming in, then the more you can do with that money, because it's not as big of a risk to do stuff.
And the more your company's worth, I think like if you like some calculation I heard is like your company's worth like 10 times the amount of annual recurring revenue minus, or 10 times the amount of yearly revenue minus the CEO's or like minus the executive salaries or something like that. Like the CEO's, the owner's salaries. Right. So if you have 10 million in annual revenue as a company, you're worth 100 million. The company's worth 100 million. That's how like tech companies think of it. So like all those companies are trying to get annual recurring revenue so that they can sell to someone else, or they can pitch investors to keep investing more. Just being like, you see how like, we know we're going to make X amount. And that's why when like subscribers go down for like Netflix, the stock drops like 90% because they're just like, the gravy train's over.
Yeah.
But
then I don't know. Cause then that's the other thing. Probably they need to reevaluate those models, because 10X isn't sustainable, because that's why there's so many layoffs within tech. Because
those companies are still growing and doing all right. I think the layoffs are just because they just hate the working class.
Maybe.
I don't think a lot of companies had to, like, certainly some companies had to lay people off, but not every company.
Yeah, and I think we
had
talked
to
about
lay
that
people
too.
off,
Like it's
but
more
they want to show growth.
that, and then it's like, oh, well, all these other companies are doing it. This is the time to do it so that we look like we're a part of the trend. But no, yeah, we're just cutting fat.
Yeah, like Paxton said, it's like Uber. Uber's never made money. It's never been profitable.
Well, she was saying Uber's in relation to the self-driving cars.
Oh,
it was
well,
an earlier
also
comment.
it applies to what she meant as well.
I want to hear a story about Egypt, Jay. Did you live abroad?
Wait, we have one more thing.
Do we?
Oh, it's this cameraman thing, though.
Well, I say something else.
No, you don't like it anymore?
I mean, it's a whole. I'd rather have a personal story. The only thing I was gonna talk about here is just click it, just so we can watch just a little bit of it.
Oh my God! Is there sound?
Da, da, da. Okay, nice. Just look at this guy's precision skill. Like, the only thing I was gonna talk about here was specialized jobs.
A
and
monkey
how
could do
crazy-
this, Colby. We could put this. A monkey could do this with their brain. They don't even need to have a gun.
Well, I mean, a computer could definitely do this. Just right, like if someone is shooting,
It would
you
have to have a
zoom
lot
in.
of data of people doing it. So that's cool. I didn't realize they use a little hand
wheel.
crank or whatever. Fun stuff. A story about Egypt. I don't know. I just told you one when I was in Jordan, the Bedouin guy. Let's
No,
hear a
that's a
story about
trash story.
Thailand. Oh well, it's mine.
Okay.
And I had one already.
So yeah, early
love your
on
shirt,
in
Will.
my- thanks.
The brick pattern is really cool. It matches the wall perfectly. It's really weird.
It's really weird. It's almost as if I'm not there, and you can see the wall behind me. So yeah, I lived part of the first company I worked for. So it was kind of crazy because I knew I wanted to work internationally. And so the company I worked for was in 70 different countries at the time. And so because there were so many countries and because there were business needs, they didn't let you pick and choose which countries you wanted. But what you could do is pick 3 countries where you didn't want to go. So out of the 70. So it's a pretty big gamble. For me, I had Russia, Saudi Arabia. Norway would be
Cold.
great to visit. It's all their stuff is in the North Sea. And
It's cold.
it's not just cold. It's like 50-foot waves. It's absolutely North Sea. We should maybe look that up.
The North Sea.
North Sea storms on oil platform or something. And people
let me see.
people are not dying all the time, but like you have to get to them by helicopter, and helicopters definitely go down. Like it's a whole thing. So I put that in, waiting, and they're like, okay, we found a place for you to go. Maybe that like third one down, yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, great.
It's already
It's
muted. So,
Stop assault weapon sales.
okay.
Hold
So
on. Here, let's put it on the.
yeah, this is
So this is where Will didn't want to go. Let's see.
I mean, no.
So you would have actually had to be on one of those things?
Yes.
That's it? There's no
Yes.
like be at the office in Norway? Or the office
no,
is there?
because no, the office isn't there. But when you would go out to work, that's where it would be.
Do people get seasick there?
Yeah.
Do they go out on helicopters? How do
Yeah.
you even get there?
You get there on a helicopter, and the helicopters go down. So I had
they
to go.
They sink?
They'll
Or
just
they
fail.
what's it called? When
Crash.
they crash?
Yeah.
Yeah. When a plane
and it
sinks
happens.
from the
Yeah.
sky?
Why?
Just 'cause
Why?
it
Because
sucks
it's
there,
horrible
or-
weather. I
Oh,
mean,
like a storm?
yeah. A lot of helicopters are not a very safe way to
Yeah.
travel.
Kobe.
R.I.P. Kobe. Yeah. But then, so like I had to do a whole helicopter training school because I also had to fly in a helicopter offshore in Thailand.
You had to do helicopter, so you can fly a helicopter. You just have to be training to like be
Trained to be in one. And so
in one. Yeah, this doesn't look.
that looks
Very hospitable.
absolutely oh gosh, that's scary. So it was, and I had to get the certain training to go even in the North Sea. And so it's so cold. Like if you fall in that water, you're basically dead.
Yeah.
But they still give you a dry suit. And so
So you prolonged your death.
kind of. And so the training, which was also kind of sketchy because I was the only foreigner there, but then all the other people
Wait,
were
this is
from
in Thailand?
This is in Thailand.
So
'cause
what's the oil rig in Thailand look like? Is there a video of those?
Oh no, it's imagine.
Are there like people drinking out of coconuts? It's like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. It's flat.
It's like
super,
Deadliest
super
Catch
flat.
versus like
It completely calm water. Like, just think about I don't know. Yeah, none of these because it's going to be
there you
flat.
go, 2015.
Yeah, that's when I was.
This
there.
is you. This is where you were.
This is me.
So instead
Imagine
of
me
Norway,
waiting.
you went.
Helicopter flight.
This is you.
This
Did
is
you
exactly
take
what
this?
I
Did you post this?
So look how flat that is. Like,
Yeah, that's a little different.
and then so then they'll probably land on the little rig. Da, 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 da. So this is what I did.
So you'd be in the helicopter. This is your
Yes.
commute to work
Yes.
every day.
No, not every day. When you would go out to do a job. So
How often was that?
I only went out a couple times. There are some people that would go out for a month at a time. Like that was their full-time job.
What
was
were you
just running
doing?
the tools. I was over there. At the beginning, I had to like learn what the heck we were doing. And so I was in the shop building the tools that they run out here. And so it was a lot of plug and abandonment. Once the wells got to a certain point where
Do you know
they
about
weren't
this one, Emerald
producing.
Driller?
I don't.
That's,
Whenever it gets to a certain point where it's like not economic anymore, they have to plug the well. So they go in and they cut the casing and they cement that in. And so that's what we were doing a lot, or the types of jobs. And so then this would be something that we'd go do. We'd land the house. So I show up to the school and it's all Thai people
that
and
landing
me.
was a little.
little rough. And
I mean, these can't be the best helicopter pilots in the world either, right? Like, if you're a great helicopter pilot, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go work for an oil rig.
I don't know.
You're probably working for Kobe. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's sad.
That guy
So
wasn't the best.
so I would do these classes and I felt bad for everyone else because it was like I was the only foreigner. And so they would give the lesson in Thai and then give the lesson as well in like broken English.
I'm gonna get a beer.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
So I'm in the class and they're going through all this stuff. Da, 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 da. You put this on, you do this. So then we go out and we start testing. And so at first you're in your dry suit, and then you also have a artificial lung, or it's basically a bladder, where as you're about to crash, you're supposed to be blowing into this bladder to have enough air to survive once the helicopter goes down. And so at one point, so they did it in stages. First, they just had us in the water, right? And
So wait,
we're floating.
it's for when you're it's an artificial lung. So if you go underwater, you basically like float, or what?
It's when you go underwater and the helicopter is the blades are still turning, and so
Yeah.
you can't swim up, right? So it's like holding your breath, and you don't know how long it's going to take to break the windows, and so it's just giving yourself an extra 30 seconds of air.
Wait, why wouldn't you have air? Because you'd be underwater.
Yes.
So it's basically like you have to be of the presence of mind to use this thing and
Yes.
breathe out of it. I mean, how many people has that ever worked for?
I don't know, but they still taught this. And so at first we're just in the water.
They might as well just be like, there's a brake underneath your seat. If we start crashing, hit the brake to try to help the helicopter slow down.
Or there's a gun underneath your seat.
Yeah.
If you start crashing, shoot yourself in the head.
Shoot the pilot and then yourself.
So first it was just us in the water. Mm-hmm. And then they have a helicopter cockpit on this like remote control thing. Could we maybe get it back to the chat just to see what they're saying?
Oh, okay.
And so then we get in the helicopter, and so then we get dunked down, and you're in the thing, and so then you have to understand how to peel the window off, kick it out, undo your seatbelt, and then swim out.
So you guys practice this?
Yes.
How'd you do?
I mean, I'm here now, ain't I?
Did you ever have to use your training? No.
No, luckily not. Yeah, but so then
So wait, you
it
wanted
got
to
crazy.
see the chat? Neil says that you've never been on a rig and you were in the shop at all times.
He's so funny.
So Neil's been on a helicopter too?
No, Neil, no.
Or his rigs are land rigs?
His are
Oh,
land.
that
Yeah.
sucks.
He's never. He's
like the guy
sounded
from
some cows.
He's like the guy from There Will Be Blood. That was the type of rig he was
Yes,
on, where everyone has
exactly.
pickaxes and they're
Yes.
covered in soot. Will was out there like drinking Mai Tais, and
exactly.
he was on a fancy like helicopter rig. So, wait, so oh, I see. Colby's saying basically, is that where they cover up the edge of the earth and chalk it up to curvature? Yeah, so that's rig workers make a nice amount, and commercial fishermen get paid a lot to tolerate deadly cold, awful conditions. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
but what are they spending that money on? Just like salmon and hookers. It's
Well,
basically-
I
it's probably
think
a lot
the
on hookers. I would
commercial
say.
fishermen are way worse off than I would say oil rig workers.
Really?
Yes, because
Why?
it's a lot more dangerous. Like just
Fishing is?
statistically, yeah, because the
sucks.
weather is a lot worse. And yeah, you fall in the water. Like
There are pirates.
not so much that. And I don't know. Like there is a big focus.
Sea monsters?
within-
There's also sea
there's
monsters?
There is a big
Mermaids.
focus. Mermaids.
You might fall in love with a mermaid, and then you get distracted from fishing, and you don't make any money.
Yeah, I mean it's a possibility. A lot of it is more like there is a big focus within oil and gas to like increase the safety as well, and
Yeah,
stuff
sure there
does
is.
happen. But I would say the stakes are a lot higher on like a commercial fishing rig. We were in the helicopter, or we were just in the water. Then we were in the helicopter submerged, and we had to kick out. Then we did one.
You were in a helicopter doing this?
in a helicopter.
In a real helicopter.
Yes,
And they would
it was on.
it was
it's
on like
pool.
it was on a
It's just on a levee.
like a
thing.
like a stage.
So then they flipped the helicopter and then they dunk you under the water. So then you have to like orientate yourself. Then they wanted you to stay under the water for a little bit to like breathe out of the diaphragm thing. It was pretty intense.
Could anyone do it? Could everyone do it?
I mean, everyone did it, but yeah, I mean, to your point, like in a real situation,
yeah, it's probably
people are going to lose their mind and it's going
like
to be insane.
sparring in the gym versus like fighting John Jones. It's a little bit,
Just wait till you
it's
get
really-
hit. Everyone has a plan until they get dunked in the
Yeah,
water. Right?
Everyone's holding onto that bladder until the helicopter hits the ocean, and
Yeah.
then it's a lot scarier.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, you're getting trained for like at least probably it's about to like get them focused on the air bladder so they're not fucking around and messing the pilots up.
You're just like, they're like, help me. They're
You're
like grabbing.
pulling off my headphones. No, give
Yeah.
it back. What are you doing?
Yeah. So that was pretty intense.
They're like
It was-
sitting there with a little balloon, just
Yeah.
and the pilot's like, good. They'll just die and they'll be distracted.
Because then that was, well, and getting kind of back to what I'm saying, like it was also scary because it was also, they were telling me the instructions in kind of broken English.
Yeah.
And so then most of it, they were speaking in Thai. So I'm just kind of like following what other people
Yeah, you're
are
just
doing.
trying
like,
to watch.
All right. I guess this is what we're doing now. So yeah.
The Thai people are like, did he do it right in Thai? And the guy's like, no,
No.
not even close.
Stupid farting.
Not even close. Yeah.
Farting.
Not even close.
Like one of the times I did go off, it was really cool because it was right when Myanmar had opened up their borders. And so opened up their borders for foreigners to come and work. There still wasn't tourist visas being offered.
So what'd you do? Go do some oil stuff?
I did. But when I very first showed up, like I was able to then go to see all these temples before we went out to the rigs.
Okay.
And so, I was like, literally, me and the guy I went with were the only foreigners around, basically. So it was crazy. Because I think I was talking about that before, maybe, where it's not tobacco, but it's like a type of plant that they chew on that's super, super red.
Is it gut or
Is it red?
pan? Yeah.
Is
it's
it red?
It's really red. Just
Okay.
like, and you spit
It
the red juice out?
Yeah, exactly. So then that's what they're doing. And so
Good
that was
stuff.
crazy. And then, it was awesome to see the different temples. But yeah, that was a kind of funny thing too that I noticed. The guy that I was with was an expat from England, and he wanted to just eat British food and stay in the hotel.
Eat British food. What British food do they have in Thailand?
I don't know. Like he wanted a hamburger or whatever. Like, and so a lot of these people, basically
Yeah.
everyone I met were people that just wanted to experience home in their other country. Where
That was like
saw
when
it
I
as, like,
studied abroad
experience.
too. And I always
Okay.
got so annoyed because it was like those people would constantly complain about how like Egypt was not as good as wherever they were
Yeah.
from. And
You're
you're
like,
like,
what do
well,
you
then
expect?
go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of our country then. No, it's funny. Like, yeah, that was, well, the thing too, I didn't realize how rare it was to meet anyone from Burma or Myanmar, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I went to college with a guy from Burma, really cool guy named Lamin, and Obama mentioned him in his speech because he was doing filmmaking there, and I guess it was like political activism related. And Obama was like, and Lamin, doing the work of filmmaking in Burma. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, so I remember like all the, on like Facebook, whatever, it was like, oh, you got mentioned in Obama mentioned him as like, example of young people doing great things around the world or something.
But then this was one of the people that were saying he just wants to go back.
No, it's someone I went to school with,
Oh,
but
okay.
he was from Burma, and I guess his dad was a
Okay.
politician too. But like, I think it was like him and maybe a handful of other students allowed out, like maybe less than like 20 or less students of the whole country who were like allowed to study abroad. So it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
That I even met him. He was really chill though, Buddhist guy.
Oh, that was the other thing. They
Cool
would
hair.
put like, there was another plant that they'd put on their face as like sunscreen, but it was more of like makeup, but
keeping
then also
you light skinned.
yes, but in the sense like it wasn't their whole face. It was more like big circles of yellow on their cheeks and kind of a thing across their forehead. Like it wasn't rubbed in at all. It was more of like a design
Like
statement
like
or a
powder
fashion
kinda.
statement. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting too. But yeah, so getting back to your point, like it's so funny to me because it's like if I'm in this other country, I want to experience their culture and their food. I don't want to have a crappy made hamburger
Yeah.
from someone that doesn't know how to make a hamburger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's-
But when I studied abroad, there was definitely time at a certain point where I craved the food I was used to. After like 6 months or maybe 4 months, I remember like
sure.
we went to Israel and they had like regular food and we were just like, oh my God, this is insane. Like everything tasted so good because
Yeah.
we were just used to eating like just shitty Egyptian food.
Yeah.
Because also like the restaurant food there wasn't great. Like it was better to have it home cooked. So we were eating like, it was like, it's essentially like eating out and not having the option to cook at home forever.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked.
It-
And then like when we went to Israel, we just having like good, like, like burgers, I think was something.
Okay. Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly like back in the US. But like the thing about like when I was there, at least, like those people the reason they're so shitty at making a hamburger, it's because they've never like had a hamburger in the US. They don't
Exactly,
know
yeah.
what it is. They've just like understand, like they've read
These are
about
the
it.
ingredients.
It's ground
Yeah.
beef
Yeah.
and you like cook it and like
Yeah.
you might think that it's easy, but it's actually not. If you
Yeah.
if you don't have an example to go off of, you're not gonna it's not gonna taste like what people think,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree with you. Like the funny thing I noticed when I studied abroad was like, I spent a lot of time like, not going to class and like talking to people. And Sarah says, so in reference to the person who would complain and be like, America, the hamburgers are so much better or whatever. Sarah thinks that one of the hosts might be that guy if they
Not
travel
one of
abroad.
us.
Yeah. Someone who wants to go to Buenos Aires and Paris.
Buenos Aires.
Sarah said, I feel like Neil might be that guy. I get sad he can't bond with someone over Whataburger and those weird sausage bun things his Texas neighborhood used to enjoy. Oh, man, that's so savage. What are those kolaches? Oh, man.
Kolaches? You've never heard of kolaches?
Yeah, Neil's face when I didn't know what a kolache was, and I still don't really know what it is. It's so funny, though, because, like, that's, like, that's kind of... So what I would notice is, like, on both sides, like, the Egyptian people who had never been to America, like Americans would come and complain, and they would just be like, Americans are so like high maintenance, and like then the Americans would be like, these Egyptians don't know what the hell they're doing, and so both sides were like condescending to the other side, and neither side realized it. You know how Americans would be like, oh, like this is really good, and the Egyptian person would be like, Americans are so weird. And they're like, yeah, it is good, and both sides would be like, man, what a fucking idiot. And you're like, I'm watching you both condescend because I spent a lot of time with Egyptian people enough to understand like
Their
a little bit
culture,
about
a
how
little
their
bit- yeah, how they-
personalities are and like the sense of humor and how they present themselves. And it's like, so you would see these really sad interactions where like the person from the culture and the person like who was visiting would not give each other like enough credit. And so they wouldn't be able to like authentically connect. And like the funniest thing about those people, like the people who are always complaining about how, oh, it's so much better in America. We don't have to wait in lines for a million years to get like simple forms,
Yeah.
or the post office is shorter, or like waiters give a shit because we force them to like beg us for tips. So they have to like give us this great service. Whereas in Egypt, they're like, there's no concept of tipping really. Like you just get the service you get. And like people say that about Europe too. But like those people who would have the most complaints about like, oh, in America, it's like this. In America, it's like that. They would also be the people who second semester, when new Americans came, would be like, let me explain to you how Egypt is. Like, they're the experts
Sit
of
back,
Egypt.
my friend.
But
Let me show you.
You've been going to McDonald's for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
You don't know anyone. You barely speak a word of Arabic. You don't know anyone who's from Egypt who's like on your level as like a young person that you can connect with. But yet when Americans come, because you've been here for 3 months, you act like you're the freaking, pharaoh or something, and you're like tour guiding everyone around. I'm like, well, you don't know. It's the
So
blind
that's the
leading the blind.
McDonald's over there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
actually, that's really all I know.
Yeah. What are like the shittiest street food places where you're like, I would never eat there. Like, and Egyptian people don't
okay.
even eat there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, like just like, oh, you can
Like
get
The Office, he goes, the pizza. He's like,
Sabara. Yeah, exactly. Like Michael Scott.
Authentic pizza.
It was such that's perfect. It was
Okay.
Michael Scott vibes. Just like
Okay.
a bunch of Michael Scotts running around being like, I want to go back to America. And then like when people who know like 5 days less of Egypt than they do, acting like they know literally everything. And it's like, I don't know. I guess I just have a gift for languages, which is like kind of what I did a lot of studying about, or studying in school, it was a lot of focused on foreign languages. So like I picked up Arabic relatively quickly by like talking to a lot of people. So I would always be like the friend who had to like interact with people.
Como se dice?
Yeah, or like, it's like, hey Jay, like go ask this dude.
Okay.
That's how my extra 4 months played into it.
Uh-huh.
Like people would come in would know nothing, and like the Arabic you learn in like class in the US is not gonna help you in Egypt. You say stuff and they're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what? Like, and then you're like, I'm just trying to say hello, and it's like, oh, they don't say it like that. Like, no, just like the words they use are totally different. Even.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
It's just
even-
a whole, and especially
just
like
this-
commonplace
yeah.
language versus formal. I mean, the same thing in Spanish. Well, and real quick, getting back to
It's different, more different than Spanish though. It's
Okay.
like so different. It's like a different dialect.
Oh,
So you
huh.
learn a certain dialect in school, but then like when you go there, you're speaking a local Egyptian dialect. So
Interesting.
It's like very, very different. Like more different than like Spanish. And they would say like dialects of Arabic could be more different than like Spanish and Italian.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
they're like the Romance languages like might be more similar than some dialects of Arabic are just to each other. And so like someone in Morocco who goes to like Sharjah or like one of the Emirates or something, like someone who goes to like Qatar and they're from Morocco and they start talking, the person in Qatar would be like, I don't know half the words they're saying.
Interesting. I didn't
So
know
so
that. Uh-huh.
because of that, like because I talk to people a lot, I'm a big talker. I would
Really?
yeah, exactly. I would like befriend a lot of people, and I would start asking them like, how do you say this? How do you say that? What is this?
okay,
And I
sure.
also had a lot of friends who were kind of like wealthy Egyptians, but they went to English speaking schools.
Uh-huh.
And so they would speak like Spanglish of Arabic, like Arab English. Like they would speak like start a sentence in Arabic and in English. So I could keep up with what they were saying.
Okay.
And then I would just ask like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of the just phrases people would say, like what's up, or like, oh man, that's cool, or just like random phrases people would say, like like how to give directions or whatever, because someone would be like, take a U-turn, and they'd be like, left warja, take a U-turn. So you'd be like, oh, take a U-turn is that. So basically through that, I basically just became like the friend who was always like thrust in front of
Sure.
people to be like,
You know more
I don't
than
know
I
what the
do,
hell this
so,
guy's
yeah.
saying. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get home. What is he saying? And I'd be like, what are you saying? And I'm like, I think he's trying to tell us to go that way.
I think he's trying. Don't go down that street or we'll get mugged.
I think he hates us actually. But anyway, so.
The one thing I was gonna say, it is funny, Sarah, that you said that.
You think Neil is that guy?
No, I don't think he
he's that
is
guy.
because like his whole.
Thank God
trip
he's on a
that
virtual
he
date right now. And
is-
he's not reading this.
Yeah. His whole thing, he's going to Bali here in a couple months for a friend's wedding, and then he's planning, as he calls it, a Far East trip.
Far East. Even though he's going, most of the places he's
South.
going would not be the Far East, I would say.
Yeah. But one of the things he has listed out, like basically his whole itinerary is just based off of food he wants to try. And so he has all this.
Sounds like a tummy ache trip to me.
It could be. Actually, I have some stories about that in Thailand too.
Yeah.
So
and in Egypt, so do I. Just the most gnarliest.
So like Neil has it planned out of in Thailand, I want to hit these places. There is one dish. It's this crab noodle dish that has a Michelin star on its own. And so you have to get reservations months and months in advance.
Oh,
so
God.
he's
So there
hardcore.
are going to be white people where he's going.
Well, who knows?
You
you
are
don't
foreigners,
know.
I should say.
Farang is what they call them. It's that's funny too that there's like always gringo or always like the white guy, man, right? Because it's not just foreigners; it's like white foreigners for most of the.
Well, in Thailand,
terms.
there's a lot of like I've seen like some prejudice against like Chinese tourists. They're like the white Americans of like Thailand.
The worst are Russians. Russians are horrible.
Really?
Russians, no one likes Russians. Russians and Australians show up to Thailand and are like loud, obnoxious, constantly getting drunk, and then constantly fighting. So a lot of Thai people don't like Russians. And well, getting back to the food. So the first week I'm there, I show up and I'm just like, hey, new experience. And they want to take me out. So we'll go out.
I ate some crazy shit my first week of Egypt too. I ate some shit where I'm like, dude, what the hell were you thinking? From the street and just like.
Well, for me, it was we sat down and then they started serving a lot of these little dishes. And like the first thing that came out was just raw shrimp, which I didn't know you could eat. And probably you can't.
I don't think you can.
Like they were dipping it in this sauce.
I don't think you can.
Maybe cures it. I don't know. But
sure.
Did that. Then I had like raw oysters. I think I had raw octopus that night. I had
nothing cooked.
One of the craziest things though that I think I've still ever eaten is horseshoe crabs. You know those?
Oh yeah.
You eat horseshoe crab eggs. So it's the thing is turned upside down and it's just like these little yellow
like
roe basically. It's definitely roe. So I ate all that and it honestly in the moment it tasted good, but like the level of spice that they have was also insane. So like, and then so at work I wore coveralls, and then the funny thing is like their bathrooms, it's just a hole in the ground like that you just squat over, right?
Yeah.
So every time I had to go to the bathroom, I had to undo my coverall. And then like hold it. I have a lot of sympathy for women that like wear jumpers or just in general wearing stuff. Cause it's like to go to the bathroom is insane when you have this whole thing. Yeah. So I have to take it off and then squat down, hold the stuff so it doesn't touch the disgusting floor.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom and then there is no toilet paper. It's just a bowl of water and like a little water hose.
Yeah.
And so then you're just like, and then for like even napkins, it's not napkins. It's like tissue paper.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to dry my hands?
Can I have a paper towel? And it's like they hand you a tissue, and you're like, it just disintegrated in my hand before I even grabbed it from you.
And you're like, and so the first
I remember that when you were just like, wait, this is the paper towels here, and then you realize, man, America's so rich, we're spending like one paper towel square has like a whole roll of toilet paper. Everywhere else, amount of fibers in it.
It's not even one ply. It's like half of. You could see
in America
it.
we have like layers upon layers. Like we have ply. There's no plies in other countries. It's all single ply. And then the ground, like everything's like it's disgusting.
Gross. It's all water, and so. I was going to the bathroom a lot, and it was like the only thing I'll say is like it was coming out clear.
Yeah.
Just clear liquid. And I'm like, that is not good. I don't know what is going on with my stomach. So I eventually knew someone, one of my friends was able to like go. That was nice though. Like go to the pharmacy and then speak to them and just explain what was going on.
And they're
And
just
then
like,
they just like
"Here you go.
handed over
Try
some
this."
antibiotics and it cleared it up. And so I definitely had some other crazy things the rest of the trip, but that first week was the roughest.
Yeah, I definitely got sick. I ate some hot spicy sauce that was out on a table with like a restaurant. I put it on like and I was all vegetarian what I was eating, but like it was just bad. But like I remember it just every time I ate, I would just get the worst stomach pain and then just have to like just
Flush your
diarrhea
system,
like
yeah.
immediately. Like yeah, and then like it was happening for a while, so I'm like, this isn't good. And then I went to the doctor and he was just kind of like, yeah, like take this. And I was like, well, what do I have? Like, can you give me some information? He was like kind of like taken aback that he was just like, oh, you have like a parasite of some kind.
Yeah.
He's like, basically like every time you eat, he's like, just take this one like on a regular schedule. And after every time you eat, take this one. It was like a horse pill.
Yeah.
And so I had to swallow that. And then it would like, my stomach would still hurt, but I wouldn't like actually like it wouldn't make me sick.
Okay.
So then eventually that process, like it didn't really like get better. It just like slowly stopped happening until it was just like sort of okay. But I'm like, what? Did I just kill everything in my body? I actually
Yeah.
know a girl who I worked with, a woman. I think she was laid off from Twitter actually. Neither here nor there. But she went to Egypt to study abroad. I think I was talking past the mic this whole time. She went to Egypt to study abroad, and she got back, and she had all these health problems, and like never figured out what it was.
Uh-huh.
And she had to like when I met her, she was like gluten free, and she had all these like dietary restrictions, and she had all these like health issues. She doesn't know what it was. She just said like same thing. She's like, I got sick, like really sick, like. You know, I went to the doctor. They gave me some stuff to take. Who knows what they gave me? Maybe it wiped out something that like my body needed.
Uh-huh.
And that was her theory because nobody could figure out like what exactly it was. But she's like, ever since then and like when I got back and everything, like I've just always had health issues. So I was like, damn, dude. Like,
well, I got C. diff from taking. I had a sinus infection, and so they gave me a strong round of antibiotics. And it completely wiped out all of the good bacteria in my gut. And so C. diff is, I guess, like kind of always around. It usually just affects older people because their immune systems have kind of broken down.
It could potentially have a benefit in younger people, but then older people.
I don't know what the benefit is.
Yeah, I might be thinking of something else.
It was rough. Neil also had C. diff. And that's like, you feel like you constantly have to go to the bathroom, but then nothing comes out, or it's again liquid, and it's
that was probably what
it was like.
That sounds
insane though. Like
sounds like I had
insane.
C. diff. Like you'd just be sitting there doubled over in pain, just
Yeah.
like, why God? Like,
but it wouldn't go away. Like it wasn't just eating. It was
oh, that sucks.
like
all the time.
And so I went through like 2 weeks of that, and by the time it got to the point where I couldn't sleep. I had to have Neil take me to the hospital.
Oh man.
ER, and then they figured out what it was, and then the antibiotics that they gave me weren't strong enough. And so I had to do another round. Those weren't strong enough, and so I got this vancomycin, which is like the number 2 or number 1
I feel like I've taken
strongest antibiotic you can ever take. And at the time also, I was between my contract position and my full-time, and so it hadn't quite kicked in yet. And so I was just on the contract, but I had like a really bad health insurance. And the vancomycin was $25 a pill, and I had to take 4 pills every 8 hours or something.
Welcome to America, brother.
For 2
that's one
weeks.
thing that's not better in America. If you go to those countries, they'll give you anything for like $5.
A lot of people do that. They travel specifically to Thailand.
A lot of people travel and take drugs. No.
Well, they go to Thailand for surgeries, for medical stuff, because it was very nice. Like the hospitals were really immaculate.
Oh, I didn't
Everything
go
was
to the
cheap.
hospital.
Yeah.
Some people were like, we would always joke because there was a hospital, and people were saying like, even in the like study abroad guide, it was like, you might want to like really consider it because someone said they had stitches and they just like fucked it up. Like they were like, it was wild in there, it was crazy. Like there's people everywhere, like it was just chaos.
If you're not dying, don't go.
Yeah, someone just like stitches you up, like get out of here. You're like, whoa, you know what I mean? And like
Yikes.
so. I was funny because we were joking. Like, if I ever get hurt, like, let's say I just like, I like break my leg or something, and they're like, "Oh, like call the ambulance." I'm like, "No, call a taxi. Call a taxi and take me to the airport now. Take me to the airport now. I'm flying home. Just take me home. I'm going to just sit on the I'm sitting on the plane. Like, so we were like, don't take me to the hospital if I get sick, bro. Just send my body to the airport and send me home so I can go to a real hospital.
Austin, Neil's on a virtual date supposedly with the girl from Canada.
Is she from Canada?
No.
Was she from this area?
I don't know.
And she has COVID?
Supposedly.
He said she has COVID, so she wanted to do a virtual date.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Maybe. Should we?
You think she's...
Man,
I feel like I have so many crazy stories from study, but we should do Will and Jay's story time segment, like, because man, it's just
well, and I think we're like what we
wild.
showed at the beginning. We'll talk when Neil's back too. We'll
Kobe,
have
Kobe
other,
like that one emergency flight exactly. What
yeah,
hospital do
exactly.
you want to go to?
United States.
It's Cairo National Airport, please. That wasn't definitely not what it was called.
Imagine flying back on the plane.
Oh, my leg!
More vodka.
Yeah, you can't even drink. We couldn't even. Oh, that's another thing. Like going abroad before you're 21 and you can drink. It's the best, dude.
Okay.
You can just get lit up.
Yeah, I was over 21, and then you can definitely do. Like they do whippets there. Like they're just like
They do whip. I love that. They do whippets there. There's certain people.
Well, yeah.
The people you're hanging out with.
I guess that was more. I never saw that in the town I lived in. That was definitely when I went to Bangkok. Like the touristy parts, they would just like give you a balloon.
It's just Australians and Russians who are doing whippets and fighting.
Yeah,
just like passing out. Yeah, that sounds.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
Terrible. Oh man, I can't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, like a lot of crazy stuff happened. Honestly, like I guess I got lucky. I never really got hurt there. I never really got sick. One time I got like a sinus infection.
Did you have any like negative experiences with the people, or did you ever feel unsafe?
I mean, I think there were times I felt unsafe because I was just like, it was unfamiliar. I don't know if I felt. One time
Like
I got
in
an
danger,
argument
but
with like the police, and then I felt like they might take me into a room and beat the shit out of me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna extricate myself from this argument.
You're like, listen here.
I'll tell that story another time.
Okay.
But I was super hungover. Oh, because so this is what I was gonna say. For alcohol, you can only sell alcohol that's produced in Egypt. And so like every time you'd go to the airport, like basically you have like 48 hours from when you enter the country to buy 2 bottles of alcohol from duty free that you can take into the country. Okay. So anytime anyone my friends knew were like flying the country, they're like duty free. You
2
got
liters.
You got to get this, you got to get that. Like, oh, you got 3-4 people with you. All right, everyone's got to get us alcohol. So we would always like use that opportunity.
Lasts a weekend.
Yeah, we're like, guys, I have some friends coming in from duty free. They're gonna bring like real alcohol because the Egyptian alcohol would just get you hungover like you wouldn't believe, dude. Even because there was non-reputable brands, but there were also reputable brands. So the reputable brands alcohol, like it wouldn't make you go blind because someone didn't like make it in their bathtub, but it was also like give you the worst. The vodka, oh my
just
god.
Like below the shelf.
I gotta tell that. I'll tell that whole story another time. But basically, I didn't eat for like 24 hours because I don't know. I got locked out of my bank account, and then I went to like a party, and I was in such a bad mood, and I started drinking vodka and local vodka and Diet Coke. Oh, and that night someone had like a local bottle that wasn't from the like study abroad approved brands, and you just bought it at some store. I'm like, bro, you're not supposed to drink that. Like they say you could go blind. He's like, oh, I'll be fine. It's all right. I remember I took a shot of that. You're
like, bro, you could go blind. Here, line me up.
Vodka, yeah, exactly. Vodka and no. At first I was like, don't do that, but then you get drunk and it's like
let's try it out.
He's been drinking all right. You can still see, right? And he's like, ugh, and you're like, I guess he's fine.
Yeah, moonshine's insane.
Yeah, it was all like a lot of like Johnny Waller with like a half full bottle on a shelf, and you're like, do not buy that. It looks like it's got dust all over it, and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, I'll have to tell the whole story. Basically, like, yeah, it was rough. Like that was the first time I drank and I got sick. Where I was like, maybe like
I'm dying.
Like one of the top 3 most like worst times ever in my life, I would say.
Dang.
And then I got into an argument with the police.
You're like, listen.
Not when I was drunk, when I was the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
day, but
You're like, I don't have time for this. And then you
I
like, realized,
was in such a bad mood.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, and then I realized
he's
the
like,
guy,
you want to go
then
this?
a guy came up who spoke perfect English, and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, this guy knows everything I'm saying in English? Uh-oh.
You're like, these fucking guys.
And he was like, actually, no, I said that. I said something like, I said, no, because I could understand a little bit of Arabic, right? So I was like, I'm American, I'm a student, like, da-da. And then he, like, didn't believe me. And then the guy was like, Shekl Masri Khalas, which is basically like, he looks like totally Egyptian. And I was like, I'm not fucking Egyptian, by the way. And the guy goes, there's nothing wrong with being fucking Egyptian, by the way. And I was like, well, okay, that's
You're
true,
like,
officer.
yeah, you actually have a really good point. I love the country.
Just an expression.
Gonna get going.
You know, we in America we use fuck, and you know, I'm just like, oh my god. I started like that was when I started being like, that guy doesn't look happy about that statement. I was like, of course there isn't anything wrong with it. I
love this place. I'm here.
I wish I was, but I'm not. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, scary.
Yeah. Neil's got ish. Just kidding. We're not doing
don't
that
have
shit
it.
today. We don't have any issues. Everyone's actually fine in the world.
Everyone's
no one
doing
has
great.
any issues. Yeah.
So thanks to everyone for tuning. Good Jay.
Sure. Oh, you remembered that I'm supposed to end the show. Well, that just the fact that you remembered is even better than if you hadn't tried to end it. You know.
Wow.
Here it is. It's coming. Well, it's coming. Just had to figure out AC8. This song is called AC80ERQPY. It's actually not. Oh man, I am so tired. What a tired show. Like honestly.
Thanks, Colby, for tuning in.
Yeah, Colby.
Thanks,
Hopefully
everyone,
next time you're in Colorado, we can hang out or something. I know we always see each other in the chat. I haven't seen you for like what, 4 years or something.
It's been a while. I don't even know the last time I saw it. Yeah, it's been a while. But in general, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, tell a friend to join you on stream next time. If you have an online virtual date with Canada, instead of maybe doing a Skype with her, just come on the show and tell her to come in the chat, and you can do the date she'll communicate via chat and you communicate back via video. It'll be a 30-second delayed date, but it'll work. Yeah, I'm so tired, man. It's crazy. Are we doing a show next week?
Yep.
Okay.
Or we can maybe I think Neil is going to be saving lives next week, so we might be able to.
Oh, what is he? Would someone put a ladder in the wrong place or something in Pueblo?
So we could maybe skip a week there.
We'll see.
We'll see how things go. But
yeah. Well, hey, we love everyone who's watching.
Nuggets.
And we
There you
love
go, Colby. He says if the Nuggets make the playoffs, he'll fly in. So,
all right, let's go Jokic.
Austin, you got to come back too. Sarah, you got to come back too. We got all of the chat members. Chandra, come to town. Paxton, come back.
Jenny.
We need you. Jenny in the chat. I just saw you. Love you.
All right, y'all. Well, you know what it is. Oh wait, hold on. The beer bottle was
really?
see-through?
Oh, that is cool. That's even more see-through than my shirt.
All right, y'all. Well, goodbye.
See ya.